We have more focused programs of research. These are the indicators of progress in any discipline, and these are the indicators of progress in our discipline. Then there have been policy changes driven by knowledge that we have developed. And I mentioned one yesterday for some of you who were there. We are not using restraints in people who are in intensive care unit. We are not using restraints for the elderly who come into our hospital. Why? Because we found out the impact of restraints on the quality of life of people later on. And we are using other care models for that. Where did that come from? We were able to convince hospitals not to do that only because we have the basis, we have the knowledge, we have the evidence. We have much better pain management models of care. We used to say, oh, just don't give them pain medications. And now we understand that pain actually hurts the healing and hurts the tissues. So now we have a completely different model of pain management. And that's because of a program of research that has happened. And I can go on. There are better preventive models of HIV/AIDS for teenagers around the world. Our faculty have done it in South Africa and in Haiti and in the United States. We have much better models of prevention of HIV/AIDS. These are all because of knowledge that has been developed. Research and theory are so important in our practice. They provide us with a framework, and we are able to do a more coherent set of investigations and ask better questions, but add the answers together to really affect care and to be able to stand in front of administrators, legislators, and say, we want that change because here is the evidence for it. Progress in the discipline also appears in different integration and relationships that have been forged around the world. And some places in the world are better than others. Practice and theory seems to be a lot more connected. Theory and education seem to be a lot better connected. Theory and research. All these connections show that we are comfortable in our discipline and we are moving forward. Okay, so my first goal was that I wanted to share with you some of the breakthroughs in our discipline that make me say that we really have advanced and we have moved forward. Now I want to discuss leadership and coherent theoretical models based on those big breakthroughs. What does that mean in terms of leadership? What does it mean in terms of using coherent frameworks? I believe that leadership, what's leadership? Leadership is not about position. It's not about being a dean or being a director or being a head nurse. Leadership is not about position. You could have any of those positions and you are not a leader. But you are a leader without any positions too. So I differentiate between a leadership role and a positional leadership. And I'm talking today about the leadership role, which all of you coming out from this university and our colleagues from other universities are going to have to use in order to really affect the quality of care. So I want to give you an example of my president, who was appointed to the University of Pennsylvania. She is the second woman president of the University of Pennsylvania. I'm so excited to see you have a president of this country who is a woman too. I think you are so far ahead of us. There is a woman president in Costa Rica, Chinchilla. There is a woman president in Brazil. There has been a woman president in Chile, who's now the head of United Nations Women. So you are ahead of us in many ways. So anyhow, for us it was a big deal to have a woman president of an Ivy League university, Amy Gutman. She leads our university of 24,600 students. We at the university are 12 deans. I'm one of the deans. We are 12. We have 12 schools and lots of centers. and infrastructure. When she came, she said, I have a theoretical framework for my administration. I have a coherent approach to how I'm going to be a president of you for the next 10 years. My framework is made up of 3 concepts within the umbrella of justice and equity. I'm going to increase access to education. We are going to together integrate knowledge so that no more these disparate pieces of knowledge everywhere, because really a human being is more integrated. And we are going to engage locally and globally. These are the 3 coherent principles of her administration that we, all of us deans, think about when we are leading in our organization. When you do your practice, you have to have a coherent set of concepts. You have to have a coherent set of principles that you can articulate, you can speak about. So you can tell your patient, this is what I'm about as a nurse. These are the things I do. Here are the areas I deal with in a language that they can understand. When we don't have language for what we are doing, our patients, our clients don't have language to describe what we are giving them. And they are our most important allies in making a change in healthcare. So everybody needs to have a conceptual framework. I cringe when I hear somebody say, I practice and I practice really well. I don't need a theory to guide what I'm doing. Because we all come, we ask questions for a particular reason, not because we are chit-chatting. We ask them for a goal and for a purpose. What are the goals and what's the purpose? Okay, so now I established for you, it's very important as a leader to have a coherent framework, and I give you an example of that. I want to describe now my own theoretical journey in developing transitions from practice to a research center. And that's where theories come from. If you remember anything about today, when you leave here, the one thing I want you to remember is that theories come from practice. And you are the agents that develop those theories. It's not somewhere else in an ivory tower somewhere. It is you as clinicians who develop those theories, or you as faculty members who develop those theories. So I'll give you an example from my own journey. So sit down, buckle your seats. We are off to a long journey that took 40 years. All right, so my theoretical journey and the development of transition was 40 years journey. It started in 1960, and I'm sharing it in 2000 now. It started because I left Alexandria, Egypt. I left right after I finished. I taught for 1 year, and so I think that's the first transition that I made that was a profound transition. So I'm also saying to you that our own lived experiences influence the science that we develop. Our own lived experiences influence the theory and the practice we do, and we should value that. So I left this beautiful city, and I graduated from University of Alexandria, and here is an interesting thing that you see in this picture. I'm the one who's not wearing white. And it's because my dean said I have to wear white. And so I said, I'm not going to wear white for my graduation. I want to wear what I want to wear. But here is another thing that will tell you something about this journey that I started. Unfortunate for my mother that she was the dean of the school at the time. So her own daughter was the one who said, I'm not going to wear white, I'm going to wear what I want to wear. But the reason I'm showing you this picture is that there are people in it from Sudan, there are people in it from Syria, so diversity became part of my repertoire right away. I dealt with students and befriended people from different parts of the world. Then I moved to Los Angeles. I got a scholarship to go and get my doctorate, and I thought, I'm going to Hollywood. But unfortunately, I didn't see any actors or actresses. So here is another transition, and I went to Los Angeles to a completely foreign university and learned a little bit more about what happens to us when we are in transition. What do we lose and what do we gain? And the loss of family, the loss of friends, the loss of familiarity, the loss of a connected support system, the loss of language, and starting all over again. Shortly after I finished my doctorate, I went to UC San Francisco, University of California, another major transition, and this bridge became really a symbol of my work on transition, because every day I drove on that Golden Gate for 34 years. I drove on that Golden Gate bridge, going to teach my classes and to do my clinical care, thinking about transitions from Marin County to San Francisco. So my scholarship, did I miss one? Yeah, my scholarship is about really the focus of my work is women's health. That's what I think about, that's what I write about, that's what I did my research around the world in. I particularly care about marginalized population. I particularly focus on vulnerable population. They are immigrants, low income, no income people. Oops, this is going very fast. So they are people in transition. So the transitions then that